everyone, it's Sevy, and the Genshin Luna 3 livestream just wrapped up like literally a few minutes ago, and the thing I want to talk about most from this livestream is actually that Mondstadt is getting a huge comeback. I know that we're getting new characters Durin and Yehoda, but what we didn't know until now in this livestream is that they're actually going to be giving buffs to old Mondstadt characters in the form of what they're calling the Hexerei system. Apparently there's going to be a bit more than that, or significantly more than that, as they said, but I do want to talk about what they previewed in that 7 old Mondstadt characters plus Durin are going to be part of this Hexerei system. So that means that new abilities are going to be unlocked by completing this thing called Witch's Homework, which is basically like a side quest. And I want to talk about what they previewed for each character in a second and maybe some implications of that, plus some extra Mondstadt stuff that they also mentioned that I'm really excited about. But first, I need to pay some bills. If you'd like some discounts for your next Genshin top-up, well, congrats, because I'm about to tell you exactly how. LD Shop is a game top-up site that you can use for your Genesis Crystals or your Welkin Moons, and all you need is your server and your Genshin UID. And you can actually activate your first top-up bonus through LD Shop if you haven't claimed that bonus yet. Topping up with LD Shop is really straightforward. Just enter your server, your UID, click a few buttons, and choose your payment method. And personally, I was really happy to see several e-wallet options for those of us here in the Philippines. And once payment is done, ta-da, it shows up in-game as it should. It's simple, it's convenient, and there's discounts. If you register on LD Shop with my link, you'll get a 5% off coupon, saving up to a maximum of $30. Also, you can claim a free Welkin Moon if you spend over $80 within a month on LD Shop. Congrats, big spender. I hope you got your 5-star with that one. Anyway, if you're into all that, then just click my link in the description to register and claim those discounts, and hopefully make your next emergency top-up a little less painful. Thank you, LD Shop, for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to it. So let's talk about some of the previews of the Hexerei passives that they showed. Again, a Hexerei passive is essentially something that is going to be unlocked after you do the Witch's Homework side quest for that specific character. And these 7 characters, by the way, are going to be Venti, Mona, Albedo, Klee, Sucrose, Razor, and Fischl. And once you've completed their Witch's Homework, or like their assignment or tasks or side quest, then they unlock a Hexerei passive. It's a type of resonance, essentially, where you need 2 or more Hexerei characters on the team in order to activate that passive. So it's kind of like how in Nodcry, if you have 2 Nodcry characters, you can activate Ascendant Gleam, that kind of resonance basically. But here it's for this Hexerei system, and it's specifically going to be applied to these 7 characters plus Durin. So when you have 2 of these characters on a team, you're going to activate the Hexerei passive. They started with Venti, who's also getting a new bow, by the way, that's going to be really pretty on him. So they are starting with Venti, and they said that his first buff, or his Hexerei passive, is basically that if his burst is active and the active character triggers a swirl reaction, then they get a damage bonus. And this is like the start of introducing on-field carry Venti, because more than that, when Venti's burst is active, his normal attacks are actually going to be infused with Animo. So now you can do Animo normal attacks with Venti, and I think that's really cool. And if you guys have ever wanted to play Animo DPS Venti and wanted to keep him on field, now is your chance. So I think that that's really fun, and I hope that Venti enjoyers get a lot of fun use out of that, actually, because Venti's literally an Archon, so I think it makes a lot of sense if you want to use him on field and get that kind of fun stuff going. And then they previewed Klee, and they said that during Klee's elemental burst, her normal attack sequence does not reset. And I thought that this was an interesting change, because I know that Klee mains, they do a lot of like animation cancel techniques to try to get like smoother attack strings out of her. They even said actually that they're optimizing her attack string in order to make it feel smoother. So anyway, her normal attack sequence does not reset, and when she performs the 3rd normal attack in the sequence, she uses an explosive spark to turn that into a coordinated charged attack. So she's basically going to be dealing a lot more charged attack damage, or charge attacks, it seems. And yeah, I've never really played Klee myself, so Klee mains, I'm really interested to see how you guys feel about that one. Albedo's, I was actually pretty happy about, because it said that they're basically giving us like a solution to what we've complained about Albedo for forever, which is that his geoconstruct skill, it's so easy to get destroyed, and once it's destroyed, his damage is like gone. So what happens is that when opponents are hit with his elemental skill, silver isotomas will be generated on the field, and these silver isotomas, they can't be destroyed by enemies or obstructions or structures or whatever. I don't even think they're going to be considered geoconstructs. They're just there. And silver isotomas can increase the damage dealt by transient blossoms. After silver isotomas are generated, the damage dealt by all Hexerei characters in the party will be increased based on Albedo's defense. So I basically hope that these silver isotomas are kind of like backup solar isotomas of Albedo's original skill. Like, they should be there to essentially help in the case of Albedo's original solar isotoma getting destroyed. And I think that's pretty cool. I feel like it's a bit of a convoluted way to just fix the fact that Albedo's skill is easily destroyed, but you know, hopefully they're buffing him in other ways as well. And then they also mentioned that Fischl, she's going to provide team buffs if a party member triggers overload and or electric charge. I find Fischl buff interesting because she's still a relatively relevant character in my opinion. Her giving party buffs in the form of like stat buffs, like an attack buff and an EM buff, it's a welcome addition. Now she has some support capabilities, I suppose. It also didn't really mention any limitation about these buffs coexisting, so it's likely that you can have both on at the same time if your team somehow does trigger electrocharged and overload at the same time, or overload and lunar charge at the same time. And then it also previewed Razor's Hexerei passive, which says that during Razor's elemental burst, if his electro sigils are in overflow, then he'll deal AoE electro damage and regain energy. So this by itself, it doesn't sound super impactful, but him having ways of getting extra energy, that's going to be significant. I just hope that there's going to be more to this, because they did say that they're not telling everything yet. So hopefully there's going to be more to this. Not to say that this isn't nothing, it's not, but you know, hopefully there's more. They didn't really talk about Mona or Sucrose yet. I'm wondering what their buffs are going to be like and if they're going to be significant, and also why they didn't decide to include those in the preview, because I would be really curious about that. Sucrose honestly is the one who probably needs the buffs the least, because she's still very relevant and she's still a very good character. Mona, on the other hand, she's an interesting character, and I do hope her buffs are significant as well. Now, after previewing the buffs, they mentioned in the live stream that actually constellations are getting changes too, which is why I'm hopeful that someone like Razor is going to have a more impactful buff than just this. I'm wondering what they have in store for the 5 stars, if they're buffing 5-star constellations, because 5-star constellations are usually things that I don't mess with. But Mona, she's a standard character, so I have like C3 of Mona. The others are limited characters at the moment, so I'm wondering like, okay, these are basically just going to apply to the ones who like wailed on these characters. But you know, buff constellations are buff constellations, and I hope that those who do get to enjoy those, I hope you guys are satisfied with the constellations. We have yet to see what exactly they'll be. Now, the system is going to be long-term. Like, it's there. It's in place. It's a Hexerei system. So it's very possible that upcoming Mondstadt characters are going to join this Hexerei resonance system in the future. So I'm looking out. I'm wondering who those future Mondstadt characters are going to be. It's very possible that Varka is going to be one of them even. They also mentioned in the live stream that there will be a future Mondstadt region update, because Lieben is bringing news of one. So when that comes out, I hope that also means we're getting new Mondstadt characters. My chat is guessing that it's Dorman Port, because my chat keeps up with the lore and stuff more than I do. So I think that's going to be interesting. Now, aside from that, there were other Mondstadt comeback things, actually. Like Durin, he's basically a Mondstadt character. And in summary, if you didn't catch the live stream, in summary, his kit is something like he's a pyro unit, and he seems to be getting 2 forms. His light mode form is that he seems to be more of an off-field damage dealer plus support for his team. And then his dark mode is him being more selfishly buffing himself so that he deals more damage in that form. And, you know, it's interesting. He has 2 playstyles essentially. And he's also going to be in the Hexerei system. So he's going to have a Hexerei passive that again will need another Hexerei character to activate. Aside from that, oh my gosh, Alice and Nicole have finally been shown in the quest. And I know they're not strictly Mondstadt characters. In fact, they're going to appear in Nodcry, but it's like, you know, Hex and Zirkle stuff. Like Hex and Zirkle really having close ties to Mondstadt. That's fun. And since they were teased before Nodcry's release, I really hope that means that they'll be playable soon. But honestly, I'm personally screwed if they come out alongside Varka, because I want Nicole and Varka and Alice. So hopefully I'm not going to suffer too much. Hopefully you guys aren't going to suffer too much either. Also, Venti's getting some kind of quest that's going to bring us back to the little island in Mondstadt. And it's just, there's so much going on with like the Mondstadt affiliated characters. And I'm actually really excited for it because I feel like it's been a hot minute since we've gotten some action in Mondstadt. I know that the paralogism quest happened, but just seeing these guys make a comeback, it's really nostalgic and honestly a little bit heartwarming for me personally. And I'm excited for it. I'm going to be completely honest. I never thought Genshin would buff old characters. So now that they're doing that, it kind of feels like anything's possible. Except for artifact loadouts and a skip button. But, you know, I am getting access to the CE server for this version. So as soon as I get info on the Mondstadt character buffs and I'm allowed to share them, I will be sharing them in video content. So stay tuned for those. Subscribe to get notified when they come out. And also, if you enjoyed this video, this short video, don't forget to leave a like. Leave a comment below sharing your thoughts on what you think about the new Mondstadt related stuff in the upcoming version. And I'll see you soon. Take care.